this off and get it rolling. Remember, our sales numbers are from the week prior. So just for anybody new, um, just always know we're capturing the full week prior to give everybody, time to put it into opt-in and get it sorted through. So this is for last week. Okay, my screen's lagging a little bit. Are we good? Can you guys hear me? Am I straight? Thank you. So last week 1025, but we have a new writer. We have Lance with one app for 128. Nice job, Lance. If the first one, you can do several thousand others. CJ, one app for 1320. We've got Kristen Walsh, three apps, 1348. I see you, Kristen. You're getting really consistent there. Miss Wood, two apps, 1951 APV. Brando, three apps, 2349. Nice job, buddy. Tommy Boy, one app. That's a nice one. 2756. Mr. James Burge, two apps. 3682 APV. Page, two apps. 4341. Nice job. Dustin, two apps for 5400. I think Dustin has the flu going around his house. So may the fourth be with you on that one, Dustin. And Dustin's also helping out clients from his other industry too. So again, free leads, basically. Mama Margot, five apps for 64.53. Nice job. And Rafa, nine apps, 14,874. So for the week, last week, in the Felix base, we had 16 applications for 26,306. And the Durgan Ellison last week, 15 apps for 18,300. Nice job, guys. It's a matter of just getting good and then rinse and repeat. So for the month of October, 8 unique writers in the Felix base, 2 of them new, 69 applications for 109,886. It's a solid month. On the Durgan Ellison side, they had 15 unique writers, 4 of them new, 93 applications for 127,470. Again, guys, what these numbers mean are what we've submitted as our individual agencies. The unique writers means everybody that submitted business last month. The new are brand new people. So these numbers will always reflect your submit number. Everything moves in the same direction here. Next slide, please. And then we got Tommy or Paige who wants to grab this.
I got this. Conversations had. This is building. Everyone on here wants to be a big, fat, juicy agency owner. And you just do that by having conversations. It's as simple as that. Who do you know that's hating their job? Who right now is miserable because it's Monday and they have to go into work and it's daylight saving. So everything's out of whack and they have to adjust to that. Who do you know that wants some extra income? Who do you know that wants the freedom to be able to be a full-time parent and have a rockin' business that survives every type of economy, whatever has been thrown at it? Who do you know? And that's really what this comes down to. So James and Bridget talked to a person last week. Tommy Boy talked to 3 and I talked to 5. It's just a little bit at a time. You never know who's going to be into this. You never know who needs this. You never know someone's situation until you ask. I've had people reach out to me that I thought were killing it, that were living life, that loved it, but turns out they're miserable because they've got either more month than money or not enough time to spend all the money they're making and not enough with the people that they love. So usually people are suffering in one of those two areas and we can give them both.
New writers for the month of October. This is awesome. Probably my favorite slide of all. Lance, direct to Paige as a new writer. Carl, direct to me on a new writer. Let's see, Hunter Thomas, direct to Bridget as well. Lindsay, direct to Ibble, and Margarita, direct to Paige. Congratulations. This is awesome. You made a decision to change your life and do something different with it. And best of luck to you. And let's see you on the leaderboards like quickly, because it's so much fun. It's where everybody should be.
And the workroom where we are now, guys, this is super, super important. This is a way to all work. This is what we do now, right? We're all remote. If you happen to the main workroom and you see a lot of faces, nobody's talking, that just means everybody's working. But there'll always be, if you click the breakout room, you will see it can be this room, it can be the C. Miller workroom. Honestly, anything you see posted. I saw Karen Hansen post that she was going to be running a live appointment in the Miller Master Room. All are welcome, guys. It doesn't have to be somebody direct that you see on this call right here. And that's the key, is to know that we are in business for ourselves, but it is 1000% not by yourself. And the way you do that and get good, you hear people doing it. Hunter hopped in a dial room last week where Carl was dialing, and I said, hey, what'd you get? What was your take? And well, he said, basically, Carl gets all the same things that I've gotten so far. He just knows how to handle them better. Right. So what that does is, and that's just through repetition, but what that really does is let you know this process, it's very simple. And it's a matter of getting through the numbers that the sales system tells us, right? And that's actually one of the things before we hop into the content of the call is Hunter went to the overview in Dallas, Janie went to the overview in Dallas, and we have another agent going to the one in Houston. That's really, even if you guys know somebody that lives in one of these areas, and the way to see what's going on is you're going to go on HQ, you're going to go to news and SFG important dates and events. And we have all kinds of overviews all across the country. You don't have to be there. Let's say you live in Massachusetts, you know somebody in Phoenix. Get them to that overview. Guys, that's where you can really get a feel for the culture, the leadership. There'll be symmetry leadership, there will be agents, there'll be people just looking at us for the first time. But it's a really, really excellent way to have those do the heavy lifting to see, if that person, hey, is this for me or not? At least you've given them a chance to see it. And I guarantee you there'll be something that they will get out of that even if they say, hey, it sounds great. I can't start right now, but I know somebody. So don't ever, think that you just, because you won't be at a local event near where you send people there. The key is let your upline know that they're going for a couple of things. Make sure we get them registered. And we can also touch base with that person and say, hey, like the one today in Houston, Edward Pritchett is running it. Does it get any better than that? No, it does not. So just getting there, taking notes, making sure it is by far the quickest way to build your team, as Paige mentioned. Having the conversation starts there. And on the phone call with your friend, then you get them to a local event. Whatever happens from there, at least you've shared the opportunity that can truly, if you're willing to get through a learning curve, change your whole life, financially, flexibility, personal mindset. So get them to those events. I think that's the last one, Katie. Yeah, very good. So guys, again, want to talk about something that bears repeating because it is very, very, very important in our business. You hear it a lot. It's something that I think we can kind of say, oh yeah, we need to do this, but maybe we don't always, sometimes, even every day, do it. So I'm talking about tracking your numbers, tracking your activity. So in terms of, I think I know the answer to this, but in the chat, why do you think it's so, so, so important that we track our numbers? And there's no wrong answer here. In the chat, why do you think we track our numbers? We'll just keep it on the sales side. Why would that be important? Yep. Yep, Tim, exactly. If you don't write it down, didn't happen. What you focus on grows. Who else has some ideas on why do we track our numbers? Yep, exactly, Rob. It's that massive action, the constant correction or constant counsel you'll hear. Yeah, Emily, absolutely. Accountability. Yes, I think she summed it up, which is, yes, Hunter, exactly, to know where we need correction. So when you track your numbers, right, it is absolutely not to micromanage anybody because we're all adults here. Presumably, we've gone into this knowing like, hey, this is something I can conquer. A lot of people will say I track my numbers to hit goals, and that's true. Or like I said before, we're not here to micromanage because some of us came from an industry where, we were very micromanaged, and this isn't that. It is more about awareness. Like, where we are, what's kind of working and what's not. And honestly, I always say this, you can't hit a target that you can't see or that you don't even have a clear path to knowing that, but we can't fix anything that we're not measuring, right? And step one to that is getting with your upline, your mentor, so you know what the numbers are, even before we get into the tracking. What are the expectations around the different types of leads you might invest in? Because as logic tells us, the higher the lead, investment, obviously the conversion should be quicker. But when you're new or learning, you're going to invest in the lower level leads. So we want to change what those numbers look like so that we set the proper expectations for you and for us, right? And so, it's kind of like you trying to say, "Oh, I want to lose weight, but I'm not going to get on a scale." No, no, no. You weigh yourself, do whatever it is, because you want to see that progress over time. So tracking your sales numbers, it means lead investment. Paige did an amazing call a while back on her lead investment over time, what that looked like. So lead investment, types of leads, and your DCAs. So DCAs are dials, contacts, appointments. It's the same concept. So it's not about us judging, it's about feedback, because the numbers don't lie. They don't judge you. It's just they simply tell us where we need to focus. And the learning curve, the faster you can kind of get to the end of that part of the story, the faster you can change, how you want the outcome to look. Right. So in terms of tracking your numbers, I'm talking, I guarantee you, every top producer has their numbers at their fingertips. Guarantee it. If I had Paige on me, she could probably tell me real time where she is. Rafa, Brandon, Tom, because that's the roadmap. Because tracking your numbers keeps all of the emotion out of it, and it just lets us know. Anybody here, show of hands, feel like they had a day where they were busy constantly, but at the end of the day, you're like, what did I actually get done today? Anybody else feel like that? Anybody else with me? Yeah, honestly, you just say, I know I was busy, but what was my end game there? What did I actually get it? And kind of to touch on one of the comments in the chat, if you don't write it down, how do you even account for that? Right? Yes, it's exactly. Busy isn't progress in most cases. So again, that's where we know, okay, if you're making enough dials and you're talking to enough people, this is just an example, but you're not converting into an appointment, well, we know that's a skill set issue where we need to role play, because if you're talking to the people and not converting, that's where we know. Sometimes, guys, it's on the activity. Maybe for the amount of dials you're dialing and the amount of contacts, you're setting an appropriate level using the script and rebuttals properly. So now we just know, hey, you need to dial more, right? And so, I mean, I can remember, guys, and anybody that's ever mentored or even had a more than 6 months in our business is you think, okay, I'm doing everything right, but you just start to get frustrated. And once you start tracking your numbers for a minimum of 2 weeks, let it cycle through. This was with a brand new agent not too long ago. We realized that her contact rate was low. Now, how do you change your contact rate? You dial in different blocks of time, morning, evening. Maybe you dial from an alternate number. Changing if you're dialing twice and then sending a text. Are you following the lead cadence? Because guys, that's where people get really, really frustrated, and most times they quit. And that's why it's super, super important to track your numbers and just be honest about it. Because honestly, it takes once I started doing that, it kind of takes the anxiety out of it, because then I knew I had a solution. I had a fix. Oh, I just need to follow the symmetry system, right? On a personal note, when I started here, I knew how to sell. So that wasn't the issue. I had done direct sales, in person, whatever it was. And I was I'm buying leads every week. About 3 weeks in, my brother brought me to the business. I was like, I'm really frustrated though, because I have this stack of leads. Now, back in the day, guys, we used to print the leads out. And so I'm really frustrated. I have all these leads and I'm not getting in touch with anybody. And he was like, well, are you triple, this is when we used to triple dial. Are you triple dialing the people? And I said, no. He goes, oh, well, all right, let me know how that goes. And then another week went by. And then finally I said, why is it that I think I know more about this than a system that's built out? So once I started to just embrace the system, not worry about, oh, how I felt about it, then it changed dramatically for me. Real quick, Margaret, I just saw your hand up. Do something you want to add in there?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, in tracking your numbers too, if you've been doing it for a while and all of a sudden your production starts sucking or things aren't working for you, go back to a month that worked and look and see what you did. Because if you are tracking your numbers, you can easily go back and say, well, that's what I was doing back then. That's how many dials I was making. That's how many leads I was getting. And it really, I've had to do that over and over and over again. And actually, Rafa and I were just talking the other day, and I said, go back and look and see on the months that you were doing really good. What's changed? What did you do? And we talked about that. And that's just really important. And you can't do that if you're not tracking your numbers.
That is such a good point, Margaret, because it doesn't matter how you got to where you are now, where meaning struggling, that doesn't matter. It's looking back at something that was proven to when you were getting the numbers that you wanted. And that is a very, very good point, because when we are in a spot where we're not getting what we want, or just struggling, or hey, I'm sitting with 10 families and I'm helping two. Do I not know how to do this anymore? I've had those conversations with agents as well. But here's the reality, guys. In any symmetry month, the 4 weeks, okay, this is tried and true. And again, anybody that's been here a minute on this call can attest to this. In a 4-week block, you're going to have one really good week, 2 average weeks, and a cruddy week. Now, what does that do? If you're in your cruddy week, it allows you to not panic and start changing all these things. Oh, my leads aren't working. I'm going to change this script. It just allows you to know, all right, I'm in my down week. And so much of the time, that just allows you to, okay, I'm good. I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to be consistent in what I'm doing. How many people, Paige could, Tom, anybody, you have a down week and you're just like, I'm good. And then the next week you submit, 10, 15,000 in premium. That would not happen if we panic and we start thinking, because then what happens? We're blaming the leads, the system, our mentor, maybe all of those things. So that's the reality of tracking numbers. And again, it doesn't have to be this, we have accounting what counts, because if you're brand new, even if you're just literally pad and paper, if you're not a big tech person, just write down. I can see, your mentors can see what you've invested in leads, but just track your activity. Just track dial. Ring, ring, ring. That's one. Hang up, call right back. Ring, ring, ring. That's another dial. So it's 3 rings and then a text and then a contact, right? Anybody that picked up that phone, that's a decision maker. Okay. Because we know if you get an 80% resolution, if you get 100 leads and you get 80 of them to say good, bad, or ugly, we have a policy, you help them out, whatever that is. We know if you focus on that metric, the activity part, the results will drive from there. So so much of the time we get that flipped around. Another thing, tracking your numbers is, and Paige, this is something when you went over your historical, spreadsheet, was it also builds belief that it actually does work. Then you can say with all, just in your heart, okay, I did the work. I put in the dials. I invested. I was on the calls. Now I just have to keep doing that. And then the results track from there, because we can all get really, really, and you're not just kind of recording numbers, right? You're owning this business, right? You own it. And when you hop on with your mentor, it's like, you should already know where your blind spots are. And knowing it, then that allows us to help you real time and so you're not tracking really your numbers for us, you're tracking them for yourself, so that we can just crush the learning curve and start making money quickly. Like Tom said, what gets measured gets improved. So, just for this week, guys, track everything. Calls, appointments, contacts, investment. Maybe if you're brand new, one of the things that can really help is if you're getting a lot of the same type of rebuttal or objection, write it down so that when you get with your mentor, you can say, I'm getting a lot of people that hang up in the first 3 sentences, or I'm getting people that say, we already have coverage, or whatever that is. Again, tracking that, it just allows us to help you really, really real time get good and get out of this whatever that you like. But before we wrap, guys, any of the leaders have anything to add on that side? Any personal experience, any touches before we hop off? Anything there? So if you don't know where you're counting what counts is or what it is, we want to hear. There's my guy, Tommy. Thank you. Just having it, guys, and you have to save a copy of it and name it. Please put your first name, last initial, whatever it is, because that'll track it for you. It will actually make the calculations as far as expectations, just like I talked about on the lead resolution side. If you're only getting a 60% resolution on your leads, how do you fix that? You dial more. You dial at different times. You use different numbers, because all we're looking for is a yes, no, maybe on those. That's a resolution. Like I always say, good, bad, or ugly. And then if you're doing that, chances are, once you focus on that 80% resolution, your other numbers are going to start to fall in line. But even if they're a little bit off, a little wonky, that's where we can help you. So make sure, because you're definitely not tracking them for us, you're tracking them for you. You own this. This is your journey here, but we can help very quickly if we know where the numbers are. And so, guys, that wraps it for today. Keep doing what you're doing. Reach out, please. Reach out, Regina. You're not bothering us. We want to hear from you. And everybody have a great Monday. Take care, guys.